So you're thinking about running or are a beginner runner or are a really good runner who just wants to listen to what I have to say, which I find unlikely. But anyways, you're here to learn my perspective on how to run as a non-runner. So just for some history, I had never run more than a 5K or about 3 miles before the pandemic hit in early 2020. I was staying at my mom's house at the time and we really wanted a goal to work towards. So we decided to train for a half marathon. Spoiler alert, this race did get canceled, but we still decided we're still gonna do it. And 3 months later, we still ran on that race date. We ran around Sauvies Island, which is an island around Portland, and it's exactly a half marathon if you run a certain route. And we had 2 of my mom's friends that were awesome and drove to each stop and cheered us on for the whole 2+ hours. It was a great experience, but after that I stopped running. And now for some reason I have decided to run another one because I really want to experience what it's really like on race day with crowds of people around you, people cheering you on, snacks, water, everything like that. And so I got my roommates and a few other of my friends to join me. Because we are in week 1 currently of our 3-month training program, or 12 week, I thought that I would go through and kind of share some of the things that I'm doing in order to complete this race as a non-runner. And when I say non-runner, I just mean that running does not come easily to me. Running a mile when I haven't been running is very hard or impossible for me, and I kind of have to stop at about a half mile, or I'm just really out of breath after that first mile. I still have ran a half marathon. I truly believe that anyone can run unless you have like a hip issue or some very obvious reason why you can't run, but if you can do other exercises and you just say, oh, I can't run, I really believe that's a choice, because I always said that my whole life, and then it took me running a half marathon and then being like, wow, I really can do this. I just wanted to say that because first thing is clearing any mental roadblocks that you have about doubting yourself or anything like that before you can start on a big goal like a half marathon. I'm gonna have 13 more specific tips starting now. So the first step in learning to run as a non-runner or as a very beginner runner, I believe, is to find your why. Doing something that's so mentally difficult as running is, at least for me, without a why, I would find nearly impossible. You kind of have to have a reason bigger than yourself to complete something that might be challenging, painful at times, and seems impossible, like running for 2.5 hours straight when I had never run more than 3 miles. For me, and everyone's why is going to look different. For me, back in 2020, my why was I need purpose to my day and I need something that I could be proud of myself for. Because going through like Groundhog's Day in the pandemic, I felt like I was doing the same thing and I really was lacking that self-confidence and kind of didn't ever feel proud of myself. I also decided to dedicate my first half marathon to my grandma Shirley and my grandpa Larry, who had both passed away. So I got a G and an S for my grandma Shirley and a G and an L for my grandpa Larry, and like little letter beads. I don't know if I'm saying this right, but anyways, little letter beads. And I put my grandma on one foot and my grandpa on the other foot. And anytime that I was like, oh, I just want to stop, I can't do this, I would either rest or I'd look at my shoes, remember my why, remember that I was dedicating this to them, and I would keep going. I mean, it doesn't have to be something as like emotional as that. It can be, I want to prove to myself that I can do difficult things, or it can be anything that you want. That's why it's your why. But taking a moment to realize, why do I want to complete this goal, I think is very crucial. After you've found your why, I believe it's very important to invest in quality running shoes. Now, running shoes, they aren't cheap. Hoka's are my absolute favorite running shoes because they have ultimate comfort, and also on their website they have this thing where you can type in what kind of runner you are, where you want to run, what you're training for, if you're like what direction your feet go in, like if it's out straight or this way. For me, I'm this way, so I had to click that, and they will recommend a pair of shoes for you. Now, the reason why this is so important is because running is very tough on your body, and if you don't have the right support in your shoes, you're going to have hip problems, knee problems, back problems. Like any of those problems are very realistic if you're running in poor support shoes or shoes that have over 500 miles on them. And by that, because I know for me, when I heard that, I was like, I thought the only thing that had miles on them were cars. This is shoes. It's not that deep, but trust me, it is that deep. Okay, tip number 3, train at least 3 months in advance from your race date. And I know this might seem a little bit discouraging, but trust me, this is what you want to do. Here is a photo of my training plan that I do. Honestly, my mom and I found this on Pinterest. We used it for our first half marathon and it worked wonders. Each mileage was exactly what we needed during the days, and it was a great beginner workout program. Now, because I'm a cycle instructor here at the CSU RAC and I do 2 45-minute cycling classes per week, I'm gonna have to tweak it a little bit, but I encourage you to start an Excel sheet or to write down and create your own plan. Here's my revised plan that I'm going to use, but definitely start to train at least 3 months in advance. Tip number 4 is to get an accountability partner. For me, I like to convince people to do things, apparently. I have gotten 3 of my roommates and 6 of my guy friends and Liam to run this half marathon. So we have 10 people training together, and just having that group chat, people being like, today was brutal, or like, today I did this. Having that accountability really, really helps. And also just to know these people are gonna be there on race day. I wanna push myself for this last half mile. Okay, number 5 is to positively correlate your runs, or at least your long Saturday runs. Now, what I mean by this is my mom and I would kind of look forward to our Saturday run, even though it was the longest run of the week, because we knew that we were going to somewhere new. During the pandemic, obviously we weren't going very many places, and still a lot of people aren't right now. So knowing that we'd go on a new trail was like so exciting for us. So we'd always positively correlate it with that. But it can be as simple as, okay, after my run today, I can order that top that I've been wanting. Or after my run today, I can go to lunch with my friends. Or after that run today, I can take a Epsom salt bath, or something that, or saving your favorite podcast for the days you run. Tip number 6 is to give yourself grace and know that it's more than likely that you're going to start slow. I am not a fast runner personally, and this was really hard when I was first training for my first half marathon, because I thought I need to get like at least an 8-minute mile, things like that. People can do 7-minute miles, and here I am at a 12-minute mile. And I just felt so discouraged and was giving myself a hard time about it, that I would try and run faster, and then I would get so winded that I would have to stop and walk, and I wouldn't even be running anymore. It's way more beneficial if you jog or run very slowly so that you can complete the mileage that you need, or run with intervals. For example, you can get an interval timer on your phone for free. What I like to do is like 3 minutes of running, 30 seconds of rest. Knowing that I'll have a rest very soon helps me mentally, and by rest I mean walking instead of running. And don't worry too much about pace, and give yourself grace, especially when you're starting, but really throughout the whole thing. Tip number 7 is to not compare your pace to others. I kind of went over this. This was a big problem for me and led to burnout and discouragement and feeling like I wasn't going to be able to do it. Your pace is your pace. Every single person has a different body and a different cardiovascular health and just ability. For example, it doesn't make any sense that me as a 5'6" woman to compare my speed to like a 6'5" man. That doesn't make any sense. His legs are longer, I carry weight in different areas, things like that. And even if someone looks like you and can run at a different pace, we're just all different. And I feel like running is something that everyone really has their own pace in. So don't push yourself to try and fit in someone else's shoes, because those won't be comfortable throughout the mileage. Also, number 9 is to hydrate and consider getting a water belt or a water pack to bring on those longer runs. And by longer runs, I mean more than 4 miles. I like to bring my water pack if I'm doing more than like 2.5 personally. There are water belts that you can get, and I really love my Nathan running pack. It does kind of slosh as I run, but I still really like it. It can carry some more water than my running belt could. But I will link my Amazon running belt that I used down below. It worked fairly well. Don't think about how this looks. Literally no one is judging you for using this, and if they are, then that's their own problem. But seriously, do not worry how you look when you run. You need water. Bring water. So to bring goo and gummies, so meaning like, I don't know what they're called, like Cliff makes them, a bunch of other companies make them, but pretty much they have sodium and sugar and other things that you need to keep you running, because after a certain point your carbohydrates will be depleted and it will be more difficult to feel the energy and to carry out your run. So you really need to give yourself more carbs and salt in order to replenish that storage so that you can keep running with that quick energy. Also, it's just fun to eat something sweet during your run, or something to look forward to. You could even bring something as simple as like gummy bears for your long runs. Number 10 is to stretch before and after your runs. I won't go into this very much, but pretty much just prevent injury, look up like a 5-minute stretch on YouTube. Number 11 is to rest when your training plan or the plan that you created says to rest. And also rest on the days that you are running. Like give yourself designated time to recover, stretch, maybe take an Epsom salt bath. Or just make sure that you take rest seriously because it's just as important as your long runs. If you don't rest, injury is very likely. All right, number 12 is a personal tip, but you do not have to follow it, is to dance while you run, or just not to take it so seriously. My mom and I would dance when no one was watching, and then we would look at the other person and they'd have to do the same move that we did. I'm not really personally a great dancer, but I found this as really fun, a really fun way to just get my mind off the point that I was kind of in pain running, especially in the beginning. So just pretty much don't take it so seriously and try and have fun with your accountability partners during those long runs. Last and final tip is to understand that your best is going to look different every day based off your sleep, your energy level, your activity level the past few days, what you've eaten. There's so many factors that can affect your pace, how the run feels, just how you feel like you perform. And understand that you are going to perform differently day to day. I feel like expecting a certain pace or to get better every time consistently is a little bit unrealistic and will lead you to be disappointed. Understand that your body has different needs and will perform differently day to day. And after your run, be proud of yourself. No matter how well you performed, be proud of your mileage and try and focus on that. Another reason why I am doing this again is because it's so easy in every other workout, I feel, just to focus on how other types of working out makes you look instead of thinking about mileage. Whereas if you're always trying to get a certain physique, personally, I feel like you'll never be satisfied. I've never met someone that's like, I absolutely love everything about the way I look and I don't want anything to change. I hope that there are people out there, because that sounds so nice to just have that peace of mind. For me and the people that I've talked to about body image, it really is something that's hard to be completely happy with. So if you instead focus on mileage or a goal at the end, it's going to be less about the calories burned and the muscle gained, and it's going to be more about the endurance and the heart health and just knowing that you completed 13.6. I hope it's 13.6, otherwise that's gonna be really awkward. 13.6 miles. And at the end of the day, that's a huge, huge, huge accomplishment. And completing 1 mile is a great accomplishment as well. Completing 5, like just carrying your body through that much mileage, whatever is your goal, is something to be proud of. So again, understand that your best is going to look different every day and be proud of your best each day. Really, because running is not made for you to talk to yourself negatively. So I hope that this video was helpful, and I really hope that it gave you peace of mind knowing that not everyone who runs a half marathon or not everyone that's running felt capable or feels capable on the day-to-day of completing it. With these 13 steps, 13 intentional, because you know, half marathon, 13 miles. Anyways, with these 13 steps, I hope that they allow you to set a goal and apply them, or set a goal to run a half marathon and apply them. And if you do that, please leave a comment, because I would love to hear your story. And I really appreciate you watching, and I hope that you're having a great day, and thanks again. Bye bye. I have them written down in my gratitude journal. It's supposed to be the best part of my day, but today, y'all are the best. No, that's too cheesy. Okay.